true worship, and those who worship must worship in spirit and in truth. And I just thought it was interesting to hear the church in Corinth where he begins to tell them about what it is because he's talking about worship here. And we get ready to have communion because how can you worship someone that you don't have nothing in common with? Well, we talked about it in Bible study. We know that God is the spirit, right? And then he creates the body and he makes Adam, right? So Adam has a body, then God blows into Adam and Adam becomes a living soul. So we have to be able to see if we're going to worship. In your worship, you're able to see clearly. In your devotion to God, not just on Sunday, but when you devoted your life to God, you're able to see things clearly. You say, no, I can go here, but I can't go there. And sometimes, even if it's someone that you love, you say, I got to separate myself. I love you. I love you, but I got to separate myself from what you're about right now. It's a good thing to know something. Who in here knows something? Everybody didn't raise their hand. I was a little scared. Everybody ought to know something, but ain't but your name. All right. But all of us know something of God. Now, it's good that we know God and that we can be known of God. It's good to be known of God also. Now, please understand that you know of God whether you have submitted yourself to Him or not. Yeah. And in the last 2 weeks, we looked at the woman at the well, who Jesus told her it didn't make no difference how many men you had already had. He started to talk to her about true worship, and those who worship must worship in spirit and in truth. And we began to look at what that is. And he told her that you said, you and your fathers in the mountains and down here in Jerusalem, you don't even know what true worship really is. And he began to tell her about those things. And then on last week we looked at the madman in the mountain who was imploding on himself, and he's becoming self-destructive. And when he sees Jesus afar, he runs and he falls down and he submits and he begins to worship Jesus. And not only he, but all the evil spirits that were contained in him, they also had to bow and worship at the foot of Jesus and say, have you come to torment us? Has our time come that we have to be bound in hell for eternity? And so we find that worship has and looking at what Jesus was showing us about worship, that it's so much more than just the songs that we sing. It can be expressed in the songs that we sing, but real worship is something that happens way deep down on the inside of you. When I get to thinking about what real worship is, because anybody can break out and worship. I was at a Michael Jackson concert. He sung "The Man in the Mirror," and people started to fall out. All right. Same thing happened at the Isley Brothers concert. And so we know people can get so caught up in the moment, and it can look like they're having a worship experience, but really the only thing that's been tickled is their fancy. I don't know about you, but I don't want my fancy tickled. I don't need my fancy tickled on Sunday morning, but what I need to do is to understand how I can get in the spirit, and then I can worship God in the spirit, and then it be truthful. Come on here. And here in the text, it begins to tell us some things that we should already know. Come on. And I just thought it was interesting to hear the church in Corinth where he begins to tell them about what it is, because he's talking about worship here. And we get ready to have communion, because how can you worship someone that you don't have nothing in common with? So for you to be friends with someone, there has to be some communication that takes place. And that communication becomes a communion that you have things in common. I've heard you say something that so impressed me that I could be your friend. And please tell me that you've heard something about Jesus that you can be his friend. He's already yours, but please tell me that you're his. So here we find in the text, no, before we even get to the text, just so we can even get an understanding of where our struggle struggle comes from, because we talked about it in Bible study. We know that God is the spirit, right? And then he creates the body and he makes Adam, right? So Adam has a body, then God blows into Adam, and Adam becomes a living soul. So we have the spirit here, we have the soul here, and here's the spirit, the body, and here's the soul in the middle. And this soul has a relationship with the spirit world and with the natural world. So there's always a struggle going on. Do you go by the thing that you see through your body and let that make your soul lead you, or do you go by the thing that is revealed to you by the spirit? Because, see, this is what happens. If you only go by the things that your body shows you, your body can show you a whole lot of things. See, my eyes show me some stuff that would get me in trouble with my wife. Because there's all kind of things going on. All kind of things when I go to the grocery store. It's amazing what you can see in the produce section. All right. Come on, preacher. So I can't be led by the things that my eyes see, because my eyes can reveal some stuff to me. My ears can reveal some stuff. And please tell me you ain't touching nothing, you ain't got no business. So we have to understand that our revelation does not come from God. But the spirit world gives us a revelation. It informs us, it gives us wisdom from the word. That's right. But then we have this other side. There you go, dropping babies again. Then we have on the other side of us, we have the spirit world. And the spirit of God talks to our spirit, and that is supposed to control the soul. Wow. But what happens is that Adam forfeited that right and said, you know what? See, after Eve ate from that tree, he no longer had nothing in common with his wife. That's right. And he said, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Right. She was deceived, but Adam said, my wife is fine. I don't care where she is. She's going to hell. I'm going with her. And Adam went ahead and he disobeyed God. That's why the curse came through him. So all of Adam's seed is cursed because he chose what looked good to him. I don't know. Maybe if he had eight, maybe he would have been able to pull her out of her mess. And this is why the responsibility lies on that. We have to be strong enough that we can pull our loved ones out of the mess and not just go by what we have seen. But when something is revealed. Go ahead, preacher. Have you ever just been sitting somewhere and something comes to you? You're like, well, where did that come from? All right. And you can't explain it to nobody. All right. Have you ever just received something and said, no one is talking to you, you didn't see nothing on TV, you haven't read nothing in a book, but all of a sudden you just feel like there's something. I said, this is in the spirit. It's called an intuition. It's called an insight. God reveals himself to us through his spirit. Right. And here in the church, in Corinth, he says, but as it is written, eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, nor has it entered into the heart of man the things God has prepared for them that love him. So that means the things that God has prepared for you, you've never even looked at. All the good things that you're able to see in your houses, all the good things you're able to see on paper, all the good things you're able to see on your cable TV, you got 300-400 things, all those good things you're able to see, none of that is what God has prepared for you. Amen. Now, he made this world that we can live in, but he said, I have some stuff that you haven't seen and you haven't heard. As a matter of fact, you're not even able at this moment in your life to be able to even conceive what I've done for you. Wow. And that's the thing right there. Your eyes and your ears cannot conceive what's going on. Now, before we have to say something. Some people know, and then we also understand. You cannot know God with your mind. Come on, preacher. Amen. That's the problem. Too many people know God with their mind. Your mind is part of your soul. If you don't know God in your spirit, how then? Because he speaks to the spirit, he doesn't speak to the soul. And God is speaking to your soul. If you think that God speaking to your soul, then you have fooled yourself. Because it says in verse 10, but God has revealed them unto us by his Spirit. And it searches all things, the deep things that are God. So see, when God gets ready to reveal something, he does it by his Spirit.